The battle had painted the frozen moon of Arcturus, 7 inches shades of crimson and ash. Korvac stood amid the wreckage of what had been his pride's encampment, his massive form trembling not from the sub-zero winds that howled across the ice plains, but from a grief so profound it threatened to hollow him from within. The Zeltharian Alpha was a creature of legend. 3 meters of corded muscle beneath obsidian scales, eyes like molten gold, claws that could rend titanium. His species had conquered 17 star systems through strength and ferocity alone. But strength meant nothing now. Seraphine lay motionless in the snow, her silver scales dulled by death, the plasma wound through her chest, still smoking in the frigid air. The raiders had come without warning, mercenaries hired by the Confederacy to eliminate the Zeltharian threat before peace negotiations could begin. They had succeeded in killing his mate. They had failed to find what mattered most. The cubs. Korvac's roar shattered the silence, a sound of pure anguish that sent ice cascading from nearby cliffs. His 3 younglings, barely 6 months old, had been in the southern den when the attack began. That section of the encampment was now a crater, still glowing with residual plasma fire. Nothing could have survived. Alpha Korvac. The voice was small, fragile, utterly human. He spun, claws extended, ready to tear apart whoever dared approach him in this moment. But the sight before him froze, even his rage. A human female staggered toward him across the ice field, and in her arms impossibly were his 3 cubs. Kessa, drawn, and little Vix, their dark eyes wide with terror, but alive. Alive. The human Mara, he remembered. One of the xenobiologists assigned to study Zeltharian pack dynamics collapsed to her knees, 10 meters away. Her environmental suit was shredded, exposing skin to temperatures that should have killed her in minutes. Burns covered her arms where she'd clutched the cubs close. Frostbite blackened her fingertips. Blood seeped from a dozen wounds. "I got them out," she whispered, her breath forming ice crystals in the air. "The den! I got them out!" Korvac approached slowly, his predator's mind struggling to comprehend what he was seeing. Humans were weak, fragile. They required technology to survive in environments that barely inconvenienced his kind. They had no claws, no scales, no natural weapons. The galaxy considered them a curiosity, clever with their tools, perhaps, but soft. Yet this soft creature had run into an inferno to save his children. Mara's arms shook as she tried to hold the cubs steady. Vix, the smallest, was crying a high-pitched keening sound that tore at Korvac's heart. The human's face was pale, her lips blue, but she smiled. "They're okay," she said. "They're okay. I promised Seraphine. I promised I'd watch them if anything happened." Korvac gently took the cubs from her arms, and Mara immediately collapsed forward into the snow. He could see her body shutting down. Hypothermia. Claiming what the flames and smoke inhalation hadn't finished. By all logic, she should be dead already. No human could survive what she had endured. But humans, Korvac was beginning to understand, did not operate on logic. He set the cubs down carefully, then removed his thermal cloak woven from Zeltharian silk. Designed to retain their natural body heat, he wrapped it around Mara's broken form and lifted her with a gentleness that surprised him. She weighed almost nothing in his arms. "Stay awake, Mara," he commanded, his voice a low rumble. "You do not have permission to die." Her eyes fluttered open, unfocused. "Your babies. Safe? Oh, because of you. Good." She coughed, blood speckling her lips. "Seraphine was my friend." Korvac began moving toward the emergency beacon, his cubs following at his heels. The nearest medical facility was 40 kilometers across terrain that would kill most species. But he was Zeltharian, built for this frozen hell, and he would not let this human sacrifice be in vain. As he walked, Mara drifted in and out of consciousness, mumbling in her delirium. "They tried to shoot them," she whispered. "The mercs found the den. I told them I was studying dangerous specimens, needed alive for research. They believed me. Korvac's claws tightened carefully around her. She had lied to armed killers, placed herself between weapons and his cubs. Then the charges went off, she continued, her voice barely audible. Everything burning, ice melting and refreezing. Had to find another way out. Had to keep them warm. Humans. We're warm. Inside. It's why we're soft. The warmth is inside. She was right. He could feel it now. The heat radiating from her even through his cloak. Even as she died. Humans burned like small stars, their bodies consuming themselves to maintain that precious warmth. She had used herself as a living furnace to keep his cubs alive. Why? The question escaped him before he could stop it. Mara's eyes met his, clear for just a moment. Because they're children, she said simply. And because someone had to. No calculation of political advantage, no expectation of reward, no survival instinct telling her to save herself. Just a choice made because it was right. The galaxy called humans weak. The galaxy was wrong. By the time Korvac reached the medical station, Mara's heart had stopped twice. Human medics swarmed her with their primitive but determined medicine, shouting about pulmonary damage and tissue death and impossibility. Zeltharian physicians worked alongside them, fascinated and horrified by what this fragile being had endured. She survived. Somehow, impossibly, she survived. 3 months later, when peace talks resumed between the Zeltharian Pride and the Human Confederacy, Korvac stood before the assembled delegates with Mara at his side, still healing, still weak, but alive. His cubs played at their feet, healthy and whole. I was taught, Korvac said, his voice carrying across the chamber, that humans were soft, that they were prey disguised as equals. He placed one massive clawed hand gently on Mara's shoulder. I was wrong. Humans are not soft. They are something far more terrifying. They are strong in ways we do not have words for. They run into fire. They endure the unendurable. They sacrifice themselves for those who cannot. He looked down at Mara, who shifted uncomfortably under the attention of hundreds of beings. This human earned her place in my pride. She is Pack now. And any who harm her will answer to Zeltharian justice. The chamber erupted in debate, but Korvac didn't care. He had learned what the galaxy had not yet understood. Humanity's strength was not in their weapons, or their ships, or their clever tools. It was in their absurd, illogical, magnificent willingness to be broken for others, and that made them the most dangerous species in the stars.